So this is lesson 3 for chapter 6 on nouns and pronouns. In this lesson, we'll talk about pronouns and possessive forms. So let's take a look at what you know already. So choose the correct word to complete the sentence. So my sister and me, or my sister and I, are in the same class. The correct answer is I. My mother visited my sister and me, or my sister and I, this weekend. It's going to be me. Our teacher gave us 3 assignments. We need to finish it or them by Friday. The correct answer is them. Do you know our teacher's S apostrophe or teacher's apostrophe S name? I forget her name. It's going to be the second one, apostrophe S. Where is the men's apostrophe S or the men's S apostrophe restroom? It's going to be the first one. Whose apostrophe S or whose without an apostrophe backpack is this? It's going to be the second one. Is this my or mine book? It's going to be my. Or your or yours? It's going to be yours. The baby saw she or herself in the mirror. It's going to be herself. So let's start off with table or chart 6-10. A pronoun refers to a noun. It can replace a noun in a sentence. If the pronoun is the subject, we use a subject pronoun. The subject pronouns are I, we, you, he, she, it, and they. If the pronoun is the object, we use an object pronoun. The object pronouns are me, us, him, her, it, and they. Look at the examples. Emma is a professor. She has a PhD. Emma is the subject of the sentence. We can replace Emma with the subject pronoun she. Bill is a kind person. I like him very much. Bill is the object of the verb like. We can replace Bill with him in this sentence. A pronoun can refer to a single noun or to the whole noun phrase. Look at the example. My friend has a new scooter. He drives it to school. The pronoun he refers to the noun phrase, my friend. The pronoun it refers to the noun phrase, a new scooter. If a pronoun is part of the subject, use a subject pronoun. For example, Ahmed and I are teachers. I is part of the subject. If a pronoun is part of an object, use an object pronoun. Mary met Ahmed and me at the store. Mary often has lunch with Ahmed and me. The pronoun me is part of the object. Singular pronouns refer to singular nouns, and plural pronouns refer to plural nouns, as in the examples. Emma works hard. She is a good teacher. Exams are long. They can be difficult. My husband and I like to travel. We often fly. A possessive noun uses an apostrophe S to show possession, or the idea of belong to, or related to. For singular possessive nouns, we use apostrophe and S. Look at the first example, the teacher's name. This means the name that belongs to the teacher. Here are some more examples. Her cat's name. The name belongs to the cat. Or that woman's name. The name belongs to the woman. For plural possessives, we use S plus an apostrophe, as in the examples, the workers' names, my friends' names. In these examples, we know there is more than one worker and more than one friend, because the apostrophe comes after the S. When the plural noun is irregular, we use apostrophe S, as in the examples, men's names, children's names. The professor's office is upstairs. Does the office belong to one or more professor? We know the office belongs to more than one professor because the apostrophe comes after the S in professors. So it's S apostrophe, which makes it plural. If it was apostrophe S, it would be singular. Look at this sentence. I often go to my professor's office hours. Am I referring to one professor or more than one professor? I'm referring to one professor. You can tell because the apostrophe comes before the S. Be careful. Sometimes an apostrophe plus S is used in the contractions is or has. Compare the sentences. Camilla's here. Camilla's son is here. Can you see the difference? In the first sentence, the apostrophe S is a contraction. What it means is Camilla is here. In the second sentence, it shows possession. Camilla's son is here. It means the son who belongs to or is related to Camilla is here. We use whose, W-H-O-S-E, to ask about possession. Look at the examples. Whose keys are those? This question means, who do those keys belong to? They're Beth's. The keys belong to Beth. Here's another example. Whose dog are you walking? Or, who does that dog belong to? My neighbor's. I'm walking my neighbor's dog. The dog belongs to my neighbor. Whose, W-H-O apostrophe S, means who is. It has the same pronunciation as whose, W-H-O-S-E, for possession. Compare the example, who's that? Or who is that? Whose is that? Whose asks about possession. Possessive pronouns and possessive adjectives show possession. Let's look at the difference between possessive pronouns and adjectives. A possessive noun is used alone a possessive pronoun is used alone without a noun after it. As in the example, those suitcases are mine. In that case, the possessive pronoun is mine. Notice that there is no noun following the word mine. A possessive adjective has a noun after it. Those are my suitcases. My is the possessive adjective. Notice that it has a noun, suitcases, that follows it. Look at the examples. I have mine. I have my suitcase. You have yours. You have your suitcase. She has hers. She has her suitcase. He has his. He has his suitcase. We have ours. We have our suitcases. You have yours. You have your suitcase. They have theirs. They have their suitcases. I have a suitcase. Its handle is broken. Its, its, with no apostrophe, is a possessive adjective. Look at the example. I read a great book. Its title is Fahrenheit 451. Its, its, is a possessive adjective modifying title. It tells you whose title. When it apostrophe s has an apostrophe, it's a contraction of it is. It's wonderful to read a good book, or it is wonderful to read a good book. There, and there all have the same pronunciation, but they have different meanings. Their is a possessive adjective, as in the example, the travelers have their suitcases. There is an expression of place. The suitcases are over there. They apostrophe re is a contraction of they are. They're heavy. Reflexive pronouns are used when the subject and the object are the same person. They are taking a picture of themselves. The subject they is the same as the object, so we use the reflexive pronouns themselves. Here are more examples. I can see myself in the mirror. You saw yourself. She saw herself. He saw himself. It saw itself. We saw ourselves. You saw yourselves. They saw themselves. By, with a reflexive pronoun, means alone. So Devin watched a movie by himself means Devin watched a movie alone. We use reflexive pronouns in a lot of expressions. For example, Chloe taught herself to play guitar. Here are some common expressions with reflexive pronouns. Take care of yourself, help yourself, blame yourself, be proud of yourself. So let's choose the correct words to complete these sentences. So number 1, he or him and his wife have 2 children. It's going to be he. Their sons or sons. Remember, the pronunciation of all of these is the same. The difference is the apostrophe. Names are Ethan and Tyler. So they have 2 children. So it should be S apostrophe because it's plural. The black jacket is David's or David's. Again, remember the pronunciation is the same, but it should be the first one because it means belonging to David. The blue jacket is my or mine. It should be mine because this is a possessive pronoun. Remember, my is a possessive adjective that needs to be in front of a noun. Whose or whose jacket is the brown one? Remember, the first one, WHOSE, is asking about possession, and WHO apostrophe S, it means who is. The correct answer is the first one. Kim and me or Kim and I are going shopping. The correct answer should be I, because I is part of the subject. It or they closes at 9. It's going to be it because we're referring to the store. There or there is a children's clothing store this weekend. In this case, it should be the first one because we're talking about the location or the existence of something. And it should be children's apostrophe S because this is an irregular plural. Sophie and her sister taught themselves or themselves to speak French. This one should be themselves. Warning here, this is a mistake that a lot of people make because a lot of people will say the word themselves. However, if you ever type that in, it's always going to be underlined as incorrect because themselves doesn't exist because it always them means plural, so selves also has to be plural. So don't get confused by that, but this is something that people will say incorrectly, but we need to make sure we're writing it correctly. So should it be they or their didn't have a teacher? And then in this case, it should be they. So say what you see. Look at the pictures and use the pronouns and possessives to describe what's happening. So if we look at number 1, he's eating his popcorn, watching TV by himself. You can go ahead and pause and come up with sentences for these other ones using pronouns and possessive adjectives to describe what's happening. So for additional practice, try the exercises for charts 10-10 to 10-14 in your book.